Good day, good evening, and good afternoon. This is Roger signing in for the BFN, the Business Financial Network. Today on Stock Radar, we're keeping you informed on unexplored brand new asset classes and emerging issuers in the global markets. At any given time, there are huge possibilities in the stock market. However, none compared to those created when government alters its regulatory stance on particular businesses or sectors. With March commemorating Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness Month, also known as TBI, we're reviewing this emerging life sciences company leading in the development and delivery of therapies including psychedelics to treat TBI and related conditions that affect over 92 million people just in the US alone. This sector has even attracted the likes of Kevin O'Leary, Wesana, WesanaHealth.com, symbol WESA on the Canadian Stock Exchange, symbol WSNAF on the US. We saw the fortunes made and minted when cannabis went through its regulatory evolution a few years ago. With company valuations increasing by 1,000% or more, and with early investors making money betting on its leaders, innovators, and disruptors. Government clearances, particularly FDA approvals, have the potential to experience exponentially explosive growth. Management has been able to even attract the likes of Mike Tyson. Our focus, TBI. At least 1.4 million cases of TBI occur each year in the US, with symptoms such as memory loss, cognitive problems, and more. Migraines, the third most prevalent global disease. Over 1 billion sufferers worldwide, and 12% of the US population deals with migraines. Anxiety, I could only imagine the amount of anxiety that the entire world has experienced during the last 2 years. And 73% of people feeling anxious a few days a week is totally realistic to me. Depression. With that anxiety definitely must cause a tremendous level of depression, and I imagine is a huge issue and is a focus of this team. So this is a very disruptive and fast growing industry. More importantly, it's founder led. And this founder and CEO and survivor, when we take a closer look into Daniel Carcillo, we notice not only has he won 2 Stanley Cups, but he was forced to retire at the age of 30 due to post-concussion syndrome after 7 concussions in the NHL. He spent 5 years trying different clinical concussion treatments for traumatic brain injury and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and was no closer to improving his brain health and quality of life. To give you an example, light sensitivity, slurred speech, insomnia, headaches, head pressure, anxiety, depression, and eventually suicidal thoughts were just some of his symptoms. And then he turned to mushrooms containing psilocybin in combination with evidence-based therapies and other plant medicines, fungi, and adaptogens. And 6 months later, he received news that his brain scans had no abnormalities and his blood work was normalized. He also noticed improvements in his face, the way he was speaking and acting, more patience, and better ability to connect with his 3 children. So you can actually see here for yourselves, go to WesanaHealth.com under the Investors tab, and you can find this same deck that we're going to be going through. But you can see his brain scans right here before and after, and no wonder this gentleman has 22% stakehold into the company. He's also been able to attract the likes of Mr. George Steinbrenner IV from the family that owns the New York Yankees. So this company is backed by some very reputable and actionable human capital. People that have done the full entire process of taking something that was in pre-IND status, pre-investigational new drug status with the FDA, all the way to commercialization. So let's take a closer look at the team. As here at the BFN, we believe companies don't succeed, people do. Daniel Carcillo, the founder and chief executive officer. Chad Bronstein, executive chairman and co-founder, founder and CEO at Philo, raised over $150 million. Previously chief revenue officer at Amobi, managing revenue operations for over $1 billion. Mark Wingerzan, PhD and chief scientific officer, leader in global clinical development and drug safety, gained regulatory approval for 5 products across 3 indications in large pharma and biotech companies. Abid Nazir, MD, Chief Medical Officer, leader in fields of addiction, ketamine therapy, and pharmacogenetics, spearheading new research on ketamine and cognition. Founded the first dedicated psychiatric ketamine clinic in the Midwest. Again, we encourage everyone to go check out this extremely deep bench. This team is well put together. Their scientific board, Wesana's scientific board, is made up of scientists who have previously invented and brought well-known pharmaceuticals through the full process. And now let's take a closer look at their business model. Care development, drug development, protocol development, uncover new indications, validate protocols, personalized treatment, collect and integrate data, care delivery, clinics, protocol delivery. So when you look at the market that these guys are targeting, this is a huge market. Depression, 14.7 billion, anxiety, 7.4 billion, migraine, 7.8 billion. These are all projected with compound annual growth rates, and they've all cited that here. When you look at their business model, Wesana is a psychedelic medicine company with a team of researchers and a growing network of clinics and psychiatrists dedicated to improving mental health and performance by developing groundbreaking drugs, clinical therapy, and remote patient monitoring. So as you can see here, their unique drug and development pipeline with Sana 013, they've already built 2 clinics in Chicago and have already conducted and administered over 4,000 ketamine treatments to date. Their meetings with the FDA that were announced at the beginning of the year were scheduled for this past Friday. And after that engagement with the FDA, they're building out a 3rd clinic. So these guys are just getting started. And it's small companies like this that are agile and primed for exponential development. And you could check out all this news on their website and on Yahoo Finance all by yourself. They've also been able to secure partnerships with the World Boxing Council, where they've given and shared access to data with Wesana on traumatic brain injuries since the late 1970s. And that's huge catalyst when it comes to this FDA approved application. Now let's take a closer look at the security. Well, obviously the security has experienced the same thing that most of the market has, which is a tremendous sell-off. With that being said, their current trajectory with the FDA, and especially this most recent message on Twitter from the CEO after receiving communication from the FDA and this continued expansion, this is where we at the BFN are in the opinion that this is a company that you should put on your radar to take a look at, as it's really has a very tight share structure. Total shares, 12.5 million, a market cap of less than 10 million, and they have a tremendous amount of key partnerships, potential for FDA accelerated status, fast track or breakthrough therapy designation for TBI. They're pursuing clinical trials and treatment of TBI related anxiety and depression using psilocybin and other potential compounds for professional athletes, veterans, and victims of domestic abuse. Submitting 2 investigational new drug IND filings with the FDA and Health Canada for the indications of TBI and migraines, following 2 patent applications. And they've closed over $20 million in financing from 2 of those gentlemen, Mike Tyson and Mr. George Steinbrenner, the 4th that I already mentioned. So let's hear from the CEO now.
Morning, everyone. Number 1 cause of death after traumatic brain injury is suicide. Over 5.6 million people visit the ER every year, in North America and receive a traumatic brain injury diagnosis. 40 to 50% of these people deal with lifetime symptoms and have to manage those symptoms in a clinic with little to no insurance remuneration for the rest of their lives. That's why this industry is worth over $150 billion. Wesana Health is at the forefront of disrupting this industry by bringing forward the first FDA-approved pharmaceutical for traumatic brain injury-related symptoms, the first being major depressive disorder. Today, we meet with the FDA, we get our written response at 4 p.m. We've achieved a large milestone in this journey. We're hopeful that this will provide hope to millions of sufferers out there, that there will be something for you to take for your symptomology that can not only manage symptoms, but also get down to addressing the actual pathology and fixing the damage that's been done by hits to the body and hits to the head. I won't stop until I achieve this. Wesana won't stop. I'm grateful for our team. I'm grateful for everybody that's followed us. I'm grateful for our investors that have invested in us. And I'm grateful to have achieved this recovery myself. Be well, everyone. Onward.
So we thank you for your time, and our first year has been blessed as the channel has exploded to over 11,000 subscribers. As here at the BFN, we continually want to inspire through learning and earning. Join us in our free private trading club and get free early access before we start our subscription plans. As always, the information being shared here is for entertainment and educational purposes. We here at the BFN are not licensed financial advisors, and no past performance guarantees future gains or losses. To keep on winning, though, you got to keep on washing. So we appreciate your time here at the BFN, and we encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, as this is Roger signing off for the BFN, the Business Financial Network. Stay blessed.